Good morning. Welcome to the beautiful island of Fox Island, Washington. I'm here visiting my grandchildren, my daughter, and her entire family. And this is the place where I'm going to be visiting every time I'm in the United States, in addition to the state of Connecticut. Anyway, as we're growing older, facing retirement, one of the major concerns is medical insurance. When you move to the Philippines, it's my understanding that the medical insurance is not that good. So I'm constantly hunting for a good insurance to have that will cover me while I'm in the Philippines. And today, an agent from Bankers Life, I believe that's the name of the company, is going to be coming over to talk to me about the supplemental insurance coverage, which has the advantages of the supplemental, but none of the disadvantages of what they call the Advantage plan. I will be interviewing him, and I'll be presenting this to you. If I feel that it's a good policy to have, I will recommend it to you. And if not, well, that's one more insurance that we have looked into anyway. And follow me through, and I will show you the interview process. And hopefully you will learn something from this. Okay? See you in a while. Medicare Part A covers you for hospitalization, which is paid for by the government, so no charge.
Right.
But it only pays 80%. You're responsible for the 20%. Then you pay for the Part B, which covers the physician cost. I think the premium there is between $130 and $140, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it's dependent on the income.
It's $135.50, but then if you have a higher income in retirement, it's going to bump you up a little bit, right?
Right. And then that also covers only 80%. So there is a 20% problem on both Part A and Part B. And Part B is something else. Now, my understanding of the supplemental, if I get a supplemental, and I'll give you an opportunity to correct me later or to explain your plan, is that it will cover the 20%, but they still deal directly with Medicare. So and that covers you in any part of the United States, not outside United States. And let's say I got involved in an accident or emergency, and I spent $1 million somewhere in the US, I'll be covered.
Right.
But what they will do is get their 80% from Medicare, and then they will supplement the 20%, so it costs me nothing, with the exception of some small copay and deductible.
Right.
Now, compare that to the Advantage plan. In the Advantage plan, you're supposed to belong to a certain group, which is local. So if I'm in Washington, not state, local in Washington, I should be limited to the doctors who are participants in that group. And my understanding is the way it works is Medicare pays them, let's just say for example, okay, $1,000 a month. Whether I get sick or not, they have the $1,000, and they say, you take care of this insured person, you take care of them. We're not involved. Okay?
Right.
So what they do is they come up with their own plans, and as long as you stay within the group, you're covered with the exception of copays and deductibles and exceptions and things like that. But you're limited to that group.
Right.
But the nice thing about it is when you are out of state, let's say I'm in Connecticut, and I get involved into an accident, well, this is not the nice part. It's not too nice because supplement will cover me 100%.
Right.
Whereas when I'm out, and in case of urgent and emergency, they will pay for 80%. I will have to put up
The 20%.
And only in those cases. So if I'm just going for routine, I have a headache, blah, 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 it's not covered. Supplement covers me, this one does not. Okay? But the nice thing about it is it's worldwide, anywhere I am. But also only on urgent and emergency situation.
That you're referring to Medicare Advantage.
Advantage, yes. Okay. So I said, since maybe most of the time I'll be out of state, why should I be paying so much money? Because supplemental is a lot more expensive than Advantage. Advantage sometimes is zero premium. Sometimes maybe as much as $20, $30, but you can go as high as $90, you know?
Right.
But generally it's a lot less, including zero premium plans. And I said, so why should I keep on putting out this money and then I can use it when I'm overseas?
Right.
Okay, that is my dilemma.
So I want to assure you, so with the Medicare supplement plans, they operate on emergency travel where you get 100% reimbursed. So like let's just say, for example, you were in the Philippines and you had to go to the hospital and you incurred the 20%, you get reimbursed 100% when you come back to the United States through your supplement plan. So a lot of people that travel overseas, they prefer to have a supplement plan because it's 100% reimbursed, whereas Medicare Advantage plan, you're paying the 20% up to a maximum of $10,000 or $12,000 because you're out of network.
Right. Okay, but I also learned about that from, I'll be specific, Humana. But Humana only covers me 90 days. It's like a travel policy. That means if I'm out for 180 days and I'm past the 90 days, I'm not covered.
Yeah, see, that's dangerous.
Okay, now this one will cover me just like Advantage?
It's 100% reimbursement, so it's actually better. So you would, of course, you would have to pay for it up front, the 20%, because your Part B is going to cover 80%. But when you come back to the United States, Bankers Life reimburses you 100% of any costs incurred overseas travel.
Okay, I get sick.
Right.
I went to the doctor or the hospital. Will I pay the hospital 100% and then seek reimbursement? Or will I only pay them 20%? Because if the hospitals don't recognize you.
And this is in the United States or out of the United States? Outside the United States, you may have to pay for it out of pocket, but you get reimbursed 100% when you go back to the United States.
Are you the only one doing it? Because that is contrary to what I have seen so far. You're the first one who told me about this.
About the Medicare supplement plans? Let me show you. Okay. So these are all the different Medicare supplement plans available in the United States. They're nationally regulated, meaning the government says you have to offer these certain plans. Now, a lot of these plans have been discontinued because they got replaced by newer plans with lower premiums and better coverage. So there's a few plans here, but if you notice here, it says foreign travel emergency on all of them. Foreign travel, foreign travel, foreign travel, foreign travel. When you travel outside the United States, you may have to pay for some of the costs up front, but when you come back to the United States, you're reimbursed 100%. So these are the plans that cover you. There's no network, so you could go to any doctor in the United States that accepts Medicare, whether that be in Washington State, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, wherever you're traveling, this is a plan that travels with you. A lot of my clients travel either overseas in retirement or they just travel around the United States. They may be snowbirds, they may have a house in Arizona and a house in Washington State. The supplement plans go with them wherever they do, and the coverage remains the same. Whereas with a Medicare Advantage plan, when you're inside of your network, you may have a maximum out-of-pocket of anywhere between $4,000 to $6,700. But then if you're outside of your network, that out-of-pocket cost can get up to high as 10 grand, 12 grand.
Now let me ask you, how come I never heard of Bankers Life?
So Bankers Life has been around for 135 years. We started originally as a life insurance company.
Oh, I know that. But when did they get into medical insurance?
So Colonial Penn is actually our sister company. If you look right here.
I go see a doctor here. I present them a Medicare card and a Bankers Life card.
Correct.
Both. When I'm in the Philippines, I don't have to present them with anything because you do not have contacts in the Philippines. I'll have to pay 100% and then file a claim. I don't have to be here to file a claim, right?
No.
I can send it. Okay.
Exactly.
So I can mail my claim here and I will get reimbursed
Correct.
according to the plan. When you say emergency, am I covered 100% or only 80%?
It's 100% reimbursement.
Okay, but it has to be emergency.
Right, and it has to, like, for example, if you're on the plan with the deductible, of course, they would take out that deductible. You would pay for that deductible.
Okay, what is the deductible?
So the deductible on that specific plan we're talking about is the $2,240.
So when I'm here, I'm covered in the entire United States, not only urgent or emergency, but everything.
Correct.
Even the routine services. I get out of the US, I will be covered, but only for emergency. What do they consider emergency?
Having to go to the doctors at all is considered an emergency. I mean, they just call it emergency because they kind of figure you're not going to be going to the hospital when you're on vacation for fun.
Right.
But if you are in the Philippines and something happens and you need to go to the hospital, you bill it to Colonial Pay and you get reimbursed, right?
Okay, they're not going to tell me, oh no, heart attack is not an emergency.
No, yeah, no.
Okay.
It could be something as small as just like I broke my finger or I have a bad cough, a cold, go to the doctor, it's an emergency.
Here's another question I have. Medicare does not operate outside of the US.
United States,
okay.
right.
And the supplement, unlike the advantage, the supplement, you are still covered by Medicare. All the insurance company is covering you is for 20%. So if Medicare, if I'm in the Philippines, I get into an accident, Medicare is not going to pay the 80%.
Because they don't operate outside the United States, correct.
Okay, but then are you saying then that Bankers Life is on the hook for 100% when I'm outside the US?
Correct.
They will absorb that instead of
Right.
collecting the 80% from Medicare?
From Medicare, right. So they could write it off on their taxes and things like that. But yeah, that is a feature of the Medicare supplement plans is that they do travel with you outside the United States.
That's interesting.
Because Medicare itself doesn't operate outside the United States. It's a government entity. But insurance companies are worldwide. So that's why they're
another point.
right.
Does this include Part D?
So Part D is not included. So I represent all the 26 different Part D plans, and they're not expensive. I mean, the lowest cost plan is around $12 right now. So it really just depends on what medications you're taking, but you also want your plan to cover your medications. So what I'm able to do is I plug in your medications, you know, how often you take them, how many milligrams, and it's going to pull up a formulary to see which out of the plans is going to cover your medications the best. For
Well, there you have it. It's a policy that has a reasonable cost. The Advantage program could cost you anywhere from $0 to maybe $20, $30. The problem is that the Advantage policy will limit you to a given territory or area. And by that, I'm not talking only of statewide. I'm talking about only within a county or within a city. When you get out of that area and you use a different doctor, different hospital, different emergency service, you are not covered. Supplemental covers you anywhere in the United States, plus international. That means you can go to any doctor you want. You're not restricted to seeing doctors that are members of a particular group. You can seek any medical services and you will be covered. That's one thing good about supplemental, but of course it's a little bit more expensive. This could cost you about $80 a month, and this is in addition to the Plan B premium that you'll be paying Social Security. All right, so hopefully this interview process was able to offer you some additional information for you to make a decision on what kind of policy you will be getting. Until next.